By the time the white Range Rover mounted my curb like it was attempting Everest, my son Theo was slumped in a tipped lawn chair, holding a crushed Dixie cup as a river of lemonade spread across the driveway, turning our suburban paradise into a sticky moat around a fallen 50 cents or smile sign. The driver, pearls, clipboard, and a glare sharp enough to curdle almond milk, leaned out the window and announced, in a tone dripping with moral authority, that refusing service is a violation. I'm Nathan Park, systems analyst. Mild-mannered, boring. My 9-year-old Theo had decided to run a lemonade stand to fund a model rocket kit he'd been eyeing for months. Real engines, parachute recovery, the works. He'd calculated the exact $47 needed after tax and planned to earn every penny himself. We live in Juniper Crest, a cul-de-sac so picture-perfect it could be a real estate brochure on steroids. Every mailbox black, every lawn 2.5 inches tall, deviation punished like a felony. Our HOA president, Belinda Rohr, is a stickler with the empathy of a parking meter, precision of a neurosurgeon. She'd sent me 4 notices in the past year alone, one for a garden hose visible from the street, one for setting out trash 6 hours early, 2 for alleged incorrect shades of beige on my front door, even though I'd measured with the official HOA paint chip. Her son, Braden, is a pint-sized tyrant with scooter privileges, diplomatic immunity, and a proven track record of running over neighbor flower beds while his mother smiles. Theo's stand went up at 10 a.m., bright citrus posters, hand-drawn lemons, a jar labeled rocket fuel, legally money, ready to take orders. At 10:12, Belinda arrived in full enforcement mode. Reflective vest, tape measure, laminated curbside commerce guideline she clearly printed at home. Violations were read like a grocery list. Sign font too large, visual clutter, umbrella not HOA approved midnight blue. Vending required a temporary thirst permit. I assumed this was a prank. No, she was dead serious. Belinda patrolled the lawn like a mall cop on steroids, snapping photos, measuring distances, muttering numbers into her phone, hovering uncomfortably near Theo. Within an hour, she sent a neighborhood-wide email blast accusing my child of unlicensed beverage speculation, subject line. Urgent cologne commercial violation in progress. Traffic hazards were claimed despite zero cars. Property values at risk. Unregulated commerce equals neighborhood decay. Neighbors texted in disbelief. Tom from 3 houses down reminded me Belinda tried banning his daughter's Girl Scout cookie sales last year under the same clause. I asked her to leave. She zoomed in on the grass like it was a crime scene, whispering ominously, "Everyone will know about this," then back toward her Range Rover like some suburban duelist. Unsettling? Absolutely. By 2:30 p.m., Braden showed up on his scooter, demanding a free refill, claiming, "We live here." Theo, polite and literal, pointed to the sign, 50 cents or smile. Braden, incensed, kicked the table, sending cups flying, lemonade everywhere. "You have to give it to me," he yelled. "Rules say 50 cents or smile," Theo replied calmly. Braden snorted and sped off. 5 minutes later, Belinda returned, engine idling like a suburban weapon. She announced loudly that the stand was non-compliant, endangering aesthetics. I told her to leave. Then it happened. Slowly, deliberately, she drove the white Range Rover onto our lawn, crushing the cooler first, snapping table legs, flinging cups in every direction. Theo bumped his elbow on the driveway, but was otherwise okay. Belinda sat there like she'd achieved greatness. I yelled for her to get off my property. Neighbors screamed. Mrs. Chun from across the street ran over. Someone yelled, "I'm filming," the ultimate suburban bat signal. Within minutes, police arrived. Officer Pettis watched our doorbell camera footage, rewound it twice, and finally asked Belinda in a completely deadpan voice. Officer Pettis asked, "Ma'am, why did you drive at a child?" Belinda launched into a monologue about civic order and commercial encroachment that would have been impressive if it weren't completely insane. She insisted she had the authority to enforce HOA rules by any means necessary. She claimed Theo's lemonade stand was a public safety hazard, and that she was fully within her rights to physically remove it. in a slip of unintentional honesty. She admitted she'd emailed the HOA board earlier that morning stating she would physically abate the stand and, quote, consulted with legal counsel, which we all knew meant a 2 a.m. Google search on HOA enforcement powers. Pettis asked if she realized she'd driven a 3-ton vehicle and 9-year-old. Belinda rolled her eyes and claimed she'd barely touched anything. This was contradicted by shattered glass, a crushed cooler, broken table legs, and tire tracks carved into my lawn like suburban crop circles. Theo had a sprained elbow and a bruised ego, but 10 witnesses and 3 angles of 4K video footage supported him. Mrs. Chan filmed from her porch. Tom down the street caught on his dash cam, and our doorbell camera captured Belinda's smugly determined face through the windshield. Officer Pettis cited her for reckless endangerment, property damage, and my personal favorite, vehicular landscaping, a real charge for driving on someone's lawn on purpose. Belinda tried to argue, pulling out her laminated HOA guidelines like they superseded state law. The officer was unimpressed. Insurance companies were notified immediately, and a city code inspector reminded everyone that weekend lemonade stands are explicitly allowed under city ordinance. Then I received Belinda's email archives. Apparently, she'd been BCCing half the neighborhood for years with petty complaints. I sent everything, the emails, the video, the works, to the city attorney, and because I'm thorough, to the local news. The emergency HOA meeting at the clubhouse was standing room only, under a banner reading community unity. Someone had lost a letter H. People who hadn't attended a meeting in years packed the room. Belinda sat in the front row, clipboard in hand, dressed for a corporate board meeting rather than a potential recall vote. She took the microphone to declare herself the victim of citrus-based harassment. I swear I'm not making that up. She claimed a coordinated campaign was undermining her authority, insisting Theo's lemonade stand was just the start of neighborhood chaos. She actually said, if we allow unlicensed lemonade today, what's next? Unlicensed bake sales. The board secretary, clearly done, walked the projector without a word. The screen flickered to life. A freeze frame of Belinda's Range Rover crawling up my curb, like a predator in a nature documentary. The timestamp was visible, her smug face through the windshield. Gasps spread across the room. Someone whispered, is that low-profile tread? The video played in real time. The cooler crumpling, the table collapsing, Theo falling backward, me yelling, neighbors screaming, Belinda shouting, this is what happens when you don't comply. The city attorney's representative stood and announced potential civil infractions totaling 5 figures: reckless endangerment, criminal property damage, assault with a vehicle. Each charge came with its own penalty range, read slowly for effect. Our insurance adjuster explained subrogation like a bedtime story with a happy ending for us. Harold, the quiet treasurer of 15 years, resigned mid-sentence. 3 other board members followed. Then came the kicker. An audit of Belinda's email trail revealed she'd used HOA funds for community enhancements, aka monogram clipboards and booting devices she bought for herself. Membership voted 43-2 to remove her from the board. The 2 votes in favor? Belinda herself and a man who immediately left a check on his brisket. She lost the presidency and had to pay restitution for lawn damage, irrigation repair, and crushed sprinkler heads. Theo's medical bills came on top. Her driver's license was suspended for 30 days, plus mandatory driving school, where she argued over cone layouts. HOA bylaws were updated to include the Don't Drive on Children clause, Article 13. Some joked it should be called the Belinda Rule, but it was deemed too petty. As part of her community service, she staffed the City Traffic Safety Fair's refreshment tent under Officer Petty's supervision, pouring lemonade under a banner reading, "Yield to people," in a volunteer vest 3 sizes too large, labeled in reflective tape. Theo funded his entire rocket kit in one afternoon after the story aired. The social media attention made his lemonade stand semi-viral. Neighbors lined up for $5 and $10 cups, and he earned enough to buy extra engines and a launch pad, and still donated some to the children's hospital that treated his elbow. He renamed his stand, Stand Your Ground, Citrus Division, and we framed his first dollar in a complete citation list on his bedroom wall, along with a photo of him smiling behind his handmade lemon signs. In HOA country, power is just a golf cart with delusions of grandeur until the dash cam starts rolling. And if you ever need a permit for a kid's lemonade stand, it's probably just to collect the tears of anyone who tried to outlaw it. The neighborhood learned an important lesson. Rules matter, but common sense and decency matter more. 3 weeks later, at the sentencing hearing, Belinda's face went from confident to pale in 3 seconds. $7,462 in fines, 30-day license suspension, 80 hours community service, mandatory anger management, and a permanent restraining order preventing her from coming within 100 feet of our property. Clipboard clutched like a failed shield, mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water, Belinda realized there was no rule, no guideline, no higher authority to save her. She nodded mechanically and whispered yes, finally facing consequences that no amount of pearl clutching or clipboard wielding could deflect.